Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a brand new movie review. I'm sorry one did not go up yesterday. I was intending to upload a review of Stronger, which is what I'm covering today, but as I was uploading it around 10:30 last night, my Wi-Fi went out, and me being cocky, I had already deleted the video, so I had to wait another 24 hours till after school, and I could record another one. I apologize for yesterday, so today I'm going to be uploading two, probably in quick succession. Uh, so I hope you guys enjoy. Um, about Stronger, here's a summary. Uh, it's about a guy named Jeff Bowman, who has a girlfriend named Erin. He's kind of just a normal guy who still likes his ex-girlfriend. He has a job at Costco. He's not rich. He's not anything crazy interesting. But he goes one day to cheer on his girlfriend when she's finishing the Boston Marathon, and as you know, a bombing happened there. And he was pretty much standing on the bomb, or like a few feet away from it. Can't remember what it said, but and he gets both of his legs blown off. He has to have them amputated, and all that happens within the first 15 minutes of the movie. The rest of it is his recovery, his rehabilitation, how this event has changed his life, the lives of the people around him, their relationships, and also the story of him becoming a hero. The people in Boston and around the world call him Boston Strong. I can't say that, Boston Strong, uh, because he survived the bombing and he's not letting the terrorists win. And he's just kind of a normal guy, and he's not used to fame, and this is his struggle with becoming famous all of a sudden, having all of this thrown onto him at once. And it turned out to be a lot more interesting than I thought it would be. So I'm going to start off with some positives. This will be mostly positives, as I really did like this movie. The wind is going crazy outside. So it starts off with a lot of detail on the actual place where the bombing took place. Uh, Jeff makes a sign for his girlfriend, and he goes to cheer her on. And as he's standing in the crowd, he bumps into a shifty guy, which, as we can probably guess, was the bomber. And it turned out it was the bomber. And about 20 seconds later, the bomb goes off, and we're right into the meat of the movie. After that, he wakes up in a hospital, and a couple of great things happen while in the hospital. A lot of small details that really give more personal emotion to the movie. There's a setup where the camera is behind, and the parents are standing in front of it, looking at Jeff, pretty much knocked out by drugs or whatever, keeping him sedated while he recovers. And all you see is the backs of the parents and top of Jeff's body, and you don't see the fact that he doesn't have legs. We all know from the trailers and things like that he won't have legs, and you just see the parents crying, and it's a lot more emotional that way because you have to sort of think. You have to put two and two together in your mind, which makes it connect a little more. Another moment like that is when the doctors are talking to the parents. The doctors are telling them all this stuff about how he's going to have to recover, how this will affect his lifestyle. And the whole time, even though the parents aren't saying anything, the camera is focused on the reactions of the parents and their emotion, small emotional journey that they take through the doctor telling them this. And it's the one-sided dialogue that really gives it a personal feel because you're watching on their eyes but through their eyes at the same time. Shortly afterward, I'm going kind of in chronological order here. When Jeff is released from the hospital, obviously the world is just overwhelming. He hasn't seen many people. He doesn't really know what's going on, but there are hundreds of people there cheering for him, saying Boston Strong, Boston Strong. And the whole time, it's all in slow motion, and the camera's panning around his head, and he's kind of squinting and waving slightly, and it really helps give the sense that he's overwhelmed by all this craziness because it went like from 0 to 1,000 like that, and I really did enjoy that touch. Later on in the movie, when the relationship between Jeff and Erin has sort of built up again, you get the sense throughout the movie that the movie is more about Erin than Jeff. It's about her having to build up a relationship with a guy that she had broken up with, but then he had an accident, so she feels bad and goes back with him, but then she ends up liking him again, but she has to help him with everything, she has to care for him, and she ends up feeling more like the main character. There's a lot more development on her side of things. But in the strongest moment, I personally think, not between the two of them, but with her, is when she's standing there at his dresser and she gets rid of his socks. Now, the movie doesn't explicitly say anything, and this is what makes it such a good movie, but you have to put two and two together with the fact he doesn't have any legs. He doesn't need socks anymore. And it's just a small touch that really shows her emotion and how you have to think about every little detail along the way with a guy who doesn't have legs anymore. Now, the final thing, and this is the biggest thing, my personal favorite aspect of this movie is Jeff's conflict with being a hero. He gets invited to TV, to be on TV, to go to sports things, to he gets tons of fan mail and gifts and things like that, and it's that conflict that he feels that drives the emotion of his part of the movie, his aspect. It it's really interesting because I haven't seen that ever in any kind of story. The not wanting to be a hero but ending up one anyway, and honestly, it was pretty powerful because you don't see that kind of thing very often. Now, for a couple negatives, um, this is sort of a nitpick since it only happens once, maybe twice in the movie, but the scenes sometimes do change from powerfully emotional to powerfully exciting and upbeat, like people crying to a baseball game. And it broke the tone, took me out of the moment, but again, it probably only happened twice at max. So I won't knock the movie much for that. Also, and I know I say this in a lot of my reviews, it's hard to get a sense of how much time are between scenes. You can pretty much guess how long it's been from the beginning to the end, but between scenes it could be an hour, it could be a week, it could be a day. It's really hard to tell because there isn't a clear indicator of time passing except for people changing their clothes and going to do separate things. Another thing I forgot to talk about is this is a positive. I'm sorry, I'm putting this in the negative section. They used actual footage of the bombing, or at least that's what my dad told me. I hadn't seen the footage live, so I couldn't even tell the difference. And I thought, man, they really must have worked it in there good if I couldn't tell the difference between the filmed footage and the footage that actually happened. Um, Back to the negatives. The Jeff is not necessarily the most interesting main character. You get a little bit of exposition at the beginning of where he works and how his lifestyle is, sort of just hanging out with friends, watching baseball, drinking beers. But aside from that, he kind of gets put to the side developmentally. He of course is the main focus of the movie, but all of his characterization comes through his relationships with his friends, Aaron, his mother, and I don't know if I didn't really enjoy that. It didn't feel that personal because you didn't get to know him. They really should have spent a lot more time doing exposition, telling us a little more about what happened, maybe what happened to him and Aaron, maybe another day of his life before the incident happened. But I don't know. That was my biggest drawback to this movie. Final thing. This is something you should be aware of if you are looking to see this movie. There isn't a lot of breaks from emotional scenes. It's just people crying to Jeff falling to him struggling to something crazy happening, and it's bam, 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 back to back to back. And I know that can probably be a pain for some people, but that's just something to keep in mind. I didn't personally mind it because I understood the point of the movie, or I understood the emotional drive, but you might not enjoy that. Anyway, I really did like this movie. I'm going to give it a 9.0 out of 10, and I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Please go see Stronger. I think it is a great movie. I will see you guys in another video, and subscribe for more daily reviews. Goodbye.